Some towns don't disappear all at once. They just stop being answered until the road ends, and the silence begins for good. Out here, it lingers. These windows once held faces, chores, arguments, prayers. Now they hold only light, watching the valley, like it's still waiting for footsteps. And the valley listens. A community is more than houses. It's a shared heartbeat. Here, the building still stands, like it's listening for voices that never return anymore. Nothing feels truly finished. The river looks peaceful when it's behaving, but water remembers everything, and sometimes it returns to collect what a town can't afford to lose in one night. The river is never far. You can almost hear morning routines here, doors opening, children running, but the path stays untouched, like the town is holding its breath today. Silence does the talking. A table is where a town becomes a family, where plans are made and worries are shared. Here, it's only dust, and unfinished days left behind. The past stays close. Before a town becomes a legend, it becomes a loss. These stones don't explain why people left, only that leaving was never the first choice. Not really. Out here, it lingers. Out here, the weather doesn't arrive politely. One calm hour, then the sky changes its mind, and the town remembers what water can do again, and the valley listens. Even when it's quiet, the creek leaves warning lines on stone, debris in branches, proof that calm is never a promise. Out here, nothing feels truly finished. When floods come, people don't fight with weapons. They fight with whatever they can, lift bags of sand, raw hands, and hope that holds for one more night. The river is never far. A town lives in small things, notes, receipts, promises, but paper can't stop water, and it can't stop people from turning against each other either. Silence does the talking. Survival can pull a community together, or split it clean. In hard years, even a fence feels like a border, and every decision becomes personal fast. The past stays close. In places like this, water was agreement. A ditch fed every garden until the flow changed, and the agreement started to break, little by little. Out here, it lingers. They sang to stay steady songs meant to hold a community in one piece. But when fear moves in, even faith can feel thin and shaky, and the valley listens. A home becomes a fortress slowly. One latch reinforced, one door locked early, and suddenly neighbors start feeling like strangers overnight. Nothing feels truly finished. At night, the town feels less abandoned and more paused, like it's replaying the last moment people realized they couldn't stay here. The river is never far. People arrive with wagons, families, and a plan. But the land keeps receipts, tracks that fade, and choices that don't, ever. Silence does the talking. They planted shade where there was none trees meant to outlive them. But comfort is fragile when water runs wild and patience runs out completely. The past stays close. A flood doesn't negotiate. It arrives like a verdict, turning work into wreckage, and making every neighbor wonder who gets saved first, right now. Out here, it lingers. Disaster doesn't just break roofs, it breaks agreements. Under pressure, the smallest arguments grow sharp until the whole town feels unsafe inside, and the valley listens. Every community has a moment where it tries to vote fear away. A meeting, a promise, a plan. Then reality arrives, louder than words, every time. Nothing feels truly finished. When resources get thin, boundaries get loud. A fence stops being wood and wire, becoming a sentence. This is mine, don't cross anymore. The river is never far. You don't leave a town in one day. First you move the important things. Then you realize the important keeps changing, until leaving feels like survival itself. Silence does the talking. In empty places, stories grow teeth. A sound becomes a warning, a shadow becomes a reason, and rumor starts to feel like something you can touch at night. The past stays close. A school is a town's future, built in plain wood and stubborn hope. When the bell stops ringing, the future stops arriving, quietly. Out here, it lingers. At night, the river sounds closer than it is, like it's rehearsing. The town listens, remembering what one sudden rise can steal from them. and the valley listens. Hard places leave evidence tools worn down, repairs repeated, hands that never really rested. Survival looks ordinary until it disappears, suddenly. Nothing feels truly finished. Every day ends the same way, light leaving the walls. But for a town like this, sunset wasn't just beauty, it was a countdown, every evening. The river is never far. History usually comes with dates and names. Out here, it comes as a fading image proof that real people once believed this place would last at all. Silence does the talking. Leaving isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like shoes that never got picked up, like a routine interrupted, and never repaired, ever. The past stays close. Floods aren't the only force that empties a town. When fear enters a community, it leaves marks, quiet signs that trust didn't survive the season. Out here, it lingers. Every ghost town has a direction, one road that carries people away. And once enough families choose it, the silence becomes permanent, like stone, and the valley listens. Crossings are promises. We can get through. But the land keeps rewriting the rules, one storm, one surge, and the safest path turns dangerous fast. Nothing feels truly finished. A field is patience made visible. But when water becomes unpredictable, the harvest becomes a gamble, and a gamble can't feed a town forever, sadly. The river is never far. In small towns, a knock can mean help or trouble. When fear spreads, even simple sounds start to feel like threats in your bones. Silence does the talking. They say on certain nights, you can still imagine lanterns moving through town, searching, checking, guarding, the way people do when safety isn't guaranteed. The past stays close. When a place is fragile, everyone carries a map in their mind: who lives where, who has water, who can be trusted when the river rises again. Out here, it lingers. A chair pulled back is a small gesture someone stood up, maybe in anger, maybe in panic. The room remembers, even if the people are gone now, and the valley listens. Every patch is a decision: fix it again, stay one more season. But repairs don't end storms, and they don't end conflict either. Nothing feels truly finished. When the river speeds up, it sounds like a different creature. A second voice warning the town that the night might not be kind. Tonight, the river is never far. Boarding a window isn't just about weather. It's about fear when the outside starts feeling unpredictable or unsafe all at once. Silence does the talking. After a storm, there's a pause that feels like mercy. But it's also the moment you count what's missing and what it will take to rebuild again. The past stays close. Families measure time in inches, children growing, seasons passing. These marks were hope made physical, until hope had to move away, eventually. Out here, it lingers. From above, it looks peaceful like a postcard. But the valley is a trap when water rises, and when tensions rise faster than the river too. And the valley listens. People kept tools close because help had to be fast. In a fragile town, a rope isn't just rope. It's rescue or escape if needed. Nothing feels truly finished. Daily life is what makes a town real: laundry, meals, small talk. When that routine breaks, the place starts turning into a story, almost immediately. The river is never far. Leaving starts as a plan. Then it becomes a stack of boxes by the door, each one a piece of the town, already halfway gone, already missed. Silence does the talking. The riverbed looks empty until you read it like a report. Smooth stones, stranded wood, a reminder that water has already won here before, once. The past stays close. Building a town is loud. Hammering, fixing, repeating. What's haunting is how fast that sound can stop and never start again, ever. Out here, it lingers. Hunger isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just nothing. Empty shelves, empty jars, warning a family that staying might cost too much, too soon, and the valley listens. This line is the flood's signature, its receipt, proof that the water came inside, and that the town never fully forgave it, not once. Nothing feels truly finished. In isolated valleys, threats don't always arrive at your door. Sometimes they sit far away watching, waiting. letting fear do the work first, quietly. The river is never far. Every town has a route everyone knows. This one leads to water, the thing that kept them alive, and the thing that eventually pushed them out, anyway. Silence does the talking. Some things look like a mistake. A cupboard left open like someone meant to come back in 1 minute, and never did, ever again. The past stays close. When conflict enters a small place, sleep becomes a luxury. You listen longer, you lock tighter. You start watching the night, for signs. Out here, it lingers. This house had the best view, until the view became a warning. Living near water means trusting it, and paying for that trust, when it breaks, hard. And the valley listens. Every town has sounds that mean normal. Here, the only sound left is wind moving between houses, like a rumor that never stops, even now. Nothing feels truly finished. When water turns unreliable, everything changes. A well that tastes wrong can start fights faster than any storm because thirst doesn't wait for anyone. The river is never far. Someone tried to keep order counting supplies, tracking losses. But you can't balance a ledger against floodwater, or against distrust, not ever. Silence does the talking. When people leave, nature doesn't rush in. It just settles grain by grain until a town becomes part of the landscape again, silently. The past stays close. A door used to mean welcome or warning. Now it swings for no one, repeating the last motion the town ever made, over and over. Out here, it lingers. They tried to grow stability row by row. But without hands, a garden doesn't stay a garden. It becomes proof that care is the first thing to vanish. And the valley listens. Time doesn't stop when a town leaves. It just keeps moving, measuring an absence that grows larger than any single reason each year. Nothing feels truly finished. Some departures are remembered. Others are simply the last wagon out. After that, the town becomes a place people talk about, never a place they return to. The river is never far. In a small town, one room holds everything: meetings, prayers, apologies. Now it holds only echo, and the feeling of words left unsaid, forever. Silence does the talking. A window is supposed to bring light in. Here, it frames the threat, reminding you that the river is always nearby, always capable, always watching. The past stays close. This was comfort, something made by hand, meant to stay in the family. Left behind, it feels like a sentence. We carried what we could and left the rest. Out here, it lingers. Out here, you can see disaster coming from miles away. And still sometimes, you can't move fast enough or agree fast enough together. And the valley listens. Staying is never just stubbornness. It's attachment, memory, pride. But pride can't hold a roof down when the storm decides otherwise, suddenly. Nothing feels truly finished. Leaving is its own kind of courage. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind that says, we want to live, even if it's not here anymore. The river is never far. After people go, shadows take over the rooms. They stretch where laughter used to be and make the place feel guarded by its own past, still. Silence does the talking. And that's how legends are born, not from magic, but from unanswered questions. Why did they leave? What happened last? The town won't say, ever. The past stays close. The river doesn't feel guilty. It keeps moving past the houses, past the graves, past every promise that couldn't hold, no matter what. Out here, it lingers. Nothing hits harder than what children leave behind. A toy becomes a monument, proof that families lived here, and that leaving hurt deeply. And the valley listens. In daylight, the valley feels exposed. Heat presses down, and you understand how survival here was a daily negotiation with the land, always. Nothing feels truly finished. If you call out here, the town answers the same way every time, by not answering. Silence, like a locked door, holding its secrets inside, tight. The river is never far. Faith was part of survival here. But even sacred pages can't stay perfect when water comes through walls. It rewrites everything, without mercy. Silence does the talking. One board can mean, we'll fix it later. But in ghost towns, later is a word that never arrives, no matter how long you wait. The past stays close. A kitchen is the center of a life. When it's left behind, it feels like the town stepped out for a moment and never stepped back in, ever. Out here, it lingers. The river leaves its memory in trees, debris caught where water once stood. A quiet reminder. It can reach higher than you think, so fast, and the valley listens. A mirror used to return a face, someone getting ready for the day. Now it reflects only fractures, like the town itself, split in two. Nothing feels truly finished. This door once opened for weddings, meetings, prayers. Now it opens only for wind, like the building is trying to speak, but can't form words anymore. The river is never far. In places like this, dust becomes time you can see tiny particles turning light into something you can almost touch for a second. Silence does the talking. Grafton isn't just a ghost town. It's a warning about water, about conflict, and how a community can survive until it can't, at last. The past stays close. A key is a promise of return. But here, it's just metal proof that the locks outlasted the lives that needed them by far. Out here, it lingers. Wood swells, dries, and splits like people under pressure. These floors remember the weight of footsteps, and the moment they stopped, suddenly, and the valley listens. If any prayer stayed behind, it's in the wind moving through open windows, asking the same question. What finally broke this town, in the end? Nothing feels truly finished. When you walk away, it feels like the town is watching. Not angry, just empty, like it's seen departures before, and it knows how stories end. Here, the river is never far. One flash of lightning and the past looks alive again. Then it's gone. That's Grafton, a memory that keeps returning in storms, again and again. Silence does the talking. A town can die in a flood, or in a conflict, or in 1,000 small endings. But the story survives, waiting for someone to listen, carefully. The past stays close,